The whole part of erector set wings on cars is to add unnecessary weight and invite ridicule. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Alrighty. Holy cow. Actually, I'm gonna not share a screen. I'm gonna use my this thingy. Two types of wings in the world. Two types of wings. Wings that work, wings that don't work. We'll start with category 2 because category 2 is way more fun. Meet the Boso Zoku. Boso Zoku literally means loud, obnoxious gang. That's literally what it translates to. And they create cars that have the wackiest, the weirdest, exhaust pipes flying everywhere, whale tails flying around, fire coming out of nowhere. They just make the weirdest crap. This is dumb wing for purely art. That's what the whole thing is about. It's just weight. It's just art. Nothing about it. You take his name out your damn mouth. You take Paul Walker's name out your damn mouth. You just look at art. Wing number 2. Practical. Wings that direct flow of air and actually change the balance of the car in order for it to reach actually what it needs to do. How do they do that, you ask? 2 ways. They disrupt the flow of the air so that the air does not create a pocket of drag behind them. Or 2, they work as an inverted wing that actually pushes down so that it actually creates more grip. You're like, oh, but going up a hill, you don't actually generate a lot of speed, so you're not going to really need a lot of like downward force. Well, guess what you do need? You do need a lot of wind not buffering you around because of a lot of drag behind you. So most of the body work on something like the Audi Quattro Pikes Peak Edition is designed to move and get the air out of the way. None of this is for downforce. Absolutely none of it. All of it is to make sure that it is a balanced ride going up one of the craziest mountain passes in the world. Now, let's get into some real aerodynamics with a little bit of art. All right, kids' car. We're going to make this simple so everybody can follow along. We're going to do a little, like, this is your child's car, right? Here we go. There we go. You got little wheels, and it's going to go this way, right? So here's our headlights. This is the back. Air, we're going to do a little blue. So we got air comes up, goes up and over, comes down, and as it leaves the back, it's going to do a little curly Q. And air is going to do the same thing coming up underneath. It's also going to do a little curly Q. When you see air do curly Qs, that creates a vacuum. So you have very slow moving air here, very high, fast air moving here. Guess what happens? Your car gets sucked backwards. So we do 2 things, all right? The easiest way to handle this is going to be some sort of spoilage. Now, you can spoil here, you can spoil here, and it doesn't take much, just a little tiny bit. You can also spoil down here. All of these are going to cause the air to flow and actually get kicked off. So it'll spoil down here, or it'll spoil up to here, and it'll spoil up to here. And so now we've got these vortices that are getting kicked off of the vehicle that are going to cause it so that the air back here is not low pressure and not pulling us back. So this is not a diffuser. This is just a tail spoiler. This is a little tiny little kicker to make a little bit of velociter. Diffuser is a completely different product. So if you'd like to learn about diffusers, we can also go to school about those. Those are very cool because the Venturi effect is actually using the fact that the low pressure actually creates suction to suck the car downward. However, in order to have a good diffuser, you actually have to have Venturi tunnels that go the full length of your vehicle or are in this balanced area in the middle, because once you get that Venturi tunnel and you create the Venturi effect, then you can create suction that'll actually drive the car downward in the middle. But if you don't have a full diffuser with actual tunnels, then it's just a toy. Then it's just a gimmick. All right. And then the other interesting thing that I always think is fun here is that if you have, whoopsies, put a new layer on here so I can move it. So you see spoilers, right? So you got a little tiny spoiler right here. That's what you normally see. Got a little spoiler. Okay. This size of spoiler, probably okay. Probably okay, right? It's going to take airflow coming off the old top. The old tippy top is coming down, and it's going to spoil off because you got your little spoiler boy right there, right? Move our spoiler up, though. Let's say we put it right here. Spoiler right here does this very interesting thing where let's get rid of these guys. Oops, I need a bigger eraser. Whoops, wait. There we go. Why don't you erase? Oh, who cares? There we go. Okay. All right. So air is going to come up, it's going to follow your car, and then what actually will happen is your air will split right here at the spoiler, and it'll create a soft spot right here. And so now you have a vacuum occurring right above your trunk. And when you have a vacuum that occurs right above your trunk, you actually create lift on the rear of your vehicle, which is not what you want. So if you see someone whose spoiler is roughly about the middle of their rear window, they're actually creating lift on the back of their car, and they will not be able to take off the same way that someone would, even if you just had the spoiler there for extra weight. So that's a dumb right there. The next spot, though, is up a little bit higher. And usually if you get this guy, this is where you'll see some really funky stuff, like the old Superbird. Everybody's seen the old Plymouth Superbird spoiler. Here, it's a little closer to your era there, Flawed Man of God. So you see how tall this spoiler is? You're like, that seems really dumb. That's a really crazy high spoiler. Well, because that spoiler is actually getting up here into clean air. So what happens is you have the initial air that is, oopsies, I gotta click over here. You still have air that's going to, wait, I didn't get the right, there we go. It's going to come down and it's going to suck up, and you still need a little kick off of your back end. And that kick can be something as simple as literally just giving it a, just a sharp corner so that it kicks up a little bit. That's usually enough. But then what happens is you got more free flowing air up here, so you can actually hit and actually get that downward thrust off of a really tall spoiler. So the really tall, stupid looking spoilers have functionality if they're up above the roofline in the clean air. The really low spoilers have functionality because they spoil all the air. It's that mid-range. Anything that's from roofline down to about like 5 inches off of the trunk most of the time. It's going to depend on the car and the car's shape and what other body lines it has. It's this void zone where it actually makes your car a whole lot less efficient. And that is aerodynamics. He took his mom is kind of a MILF.